presentation. I'm going to record this presentation so we can share it going forward with our other members. It'll be on our YouTube channel for business development. We'll let some people pop in. We got another 2 minutes before we officially start at noon. If you guys want to find that chat panel, can give it a try. Maybe tell me what your favorite Thanksgiving dish is. My daughters and I just came back from Hannaford's, and I made them purchase Brussels sprouts and pearl onions. I know I'm the only one that likes creamed onions and turnip, but
I love turnip, yeah.
everybody gets their favorite. So what are you looking forward to Thanksgiving dinner? I think turnip might be like a Midwestern thing. I don't know why that's a good one, but I like it.
Yeah.
Souffle. All right. All right. Morning, Tori, Ashley. Gladys is here. All right. So it is just 12 now. So I'll introduce myself, but while I'm doing that, go ahead in the chat panel and tell me what you're looking forward to for Thanksgiving feast. I put mine in of turnip, cream onions, and sweet potatoes. So I am Leslie Hammond, and I work with the membership for the director of membership for the Home Care Alliance of Massachusetts. This is part of our Lunch and Learn series. We try to do once a month to offer our members a business development piece, a little different than a clinical offering, to give our back office folks some education. So today we have Jane Patton from Corcoran. And she's going to give us a little bit about your exit strategy, your succession planning. But Jane, would you like to introduce yourself and take it from here?
Sure. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate you having me be part of this Lunch and Learn. Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the time during this holiday week to listen to exit planning. So my name is Jane Paniton. I'm Managing Director of Healthcare M&A for Corcoran Consulting Group. A little background about me. So like most of you, I owned a home care agency. So I can appreciate your challenges and what keeps you up at night, the stresses, having to staff a 24-hour case on a weekend you plan on being off, the 24/7 of everything. And so I am not too far away from those challenges, I remember. So I first got involved in mergers and acquisitions when I owned my agency. So I was fortunate enough to acquire another agency in another county, and I integrated and merged these, my company and the other company. And I was just fascinated by the complexity of it, and it just made my company better. And so I enjoyed that process. And when I sold my agency, so I sold my agency back in 2018. And during the sale process, I was fascinated with that as well. So it was just super interesting. I enjoyed the process. And so I decided later on, and I'll get to that a little more in the presentation, how I came to that, but I decided that I wanted to help other owners transition as well. So who we are at Corcoran, we're a team of experienced care at home industry leaders, prior owners, executives, experts who've done what you do. We are partners with our care at home organizations, and we deliver smart solutions that drive growth, improve efficiency, and strengthen financial performance. So we bring our firsthand experience and proven strategies that turn challenges into opportunities. And as a trusted partner, we're here to meet your immediate needs and guide you toward long-lasting success. So a few ways that we help is providing regulatory readiness and quality, operational assessments, help with startups, emergency preparedness, accreditation. We do interim and fractional leadership. So if you need a part-time CFO, you need an administrator on a part-time basis or while you look for a new one. We also do executive recruiting. So if you need a director of business development or some other position, we can do that recruiting for you. We now offer medical coding and quality. We do that through a partner. We offer financial fitness, so everything to do with profitability, quarterly business evaluations, service line diversification. We have a new innovations division where we take a look at your technology, make sure it's optimized. We help you measure your functional outcomes. We look at advanced payer strategy and contracting, and then innovative-based care models like hospital at home or PACE or Guide. And then my favorite, M&A advisory, transaction support, so exit planning, which we'll talk about today, seller representation during a sale from kickoff to close. We help you through that process. We do informal and we do certified business valuations. And then when people acquire agencies, we consult and advise you during that process. And then once you do acquire, we help you with post-merger integration and how to make that work. So today we're going to learn about what an exit plan is. What are the components of an exit plan? What is the best way to ensure the plan becomes reality, right? So we're going to look over what is value acceleration and what is an exit planner. So common misperceptions about exit planning. Some people think it's a plan you create when you're 1 to 2 years out from selling about how you will sell. Others think exit planning is only for owners who want to sell now. It's about taxes and legal documents, or exit planning is only for larger businesses. So what is exit planning? So exit planning isn't just about the sale process. It's a strategic roadmap that aligns personal, financial, and business goals so that the future of you, your family, and your business are addressed by focusing on creating value today in your business, not just at exit. So it may result in a sale, but it may also prepare for succession, internal transfer, a partial exit. Often some people become re-energized by the new initiatives and decide to stay and grow the business rather than exit. So an exit plan is simply a good life and business strategy. You really shouldn't call it an exit plan per se. Okay, so what if you could make more money now, have your business run without you, reduce risks, increase your wealth 400 to 500%, empower your teams or your children to take your business to the next level and ultimately increase the value of your business and achieve your personal goals and aspirations? Would you do it? I just have to move this. Okay. So the Exit Planning Institute has this state of owner readiness survey that they do every year. And they discovered that 63% of owners say they would like to exit their business in the next 10 years, and 41% would like to exit in the next 5. 99% of business owners agree that having a transition strategy is important to their future, as well as the future of their business. Yet 83% don't have a written plan or a team in place, and almost 50% of that group indicate they've not even thought about it. So this statistic is a little alarming. So 50% of owners do not exit on their terms, right? They call it the 5 Ds in exit planning. So death, disability, distress, disagreement, and divorce. 95% of owners have an unrealistic sense of business value. And historically, only 20 to 30% of exits are successful. The biggest reason for these poor success rates is lack of preparation, and we'll cover the many ways that there's a lack of preparation. So this is my favorite quote by Stephen Covey. So Stephen Covey wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, First Things First, and some other books. And he talks about beginning with the end in mind. And he illustrates this by telling the readers to picture themselves at your funeral. So you're at your funeral, and who is there? Who's at your funeral? What are they saying about you? What are they saying your biggest accomplishments have been? And how have you made a difference in their lives? And so thinking about how you want the end, where you want to end up in the end, now you bring back to putting things in place now to get you towards that funeral where everyone thinks you're great and you've accomplished so much. So there are 3 components to an exit plan. There's a personal lifestyle plan, a personal financial assessment plan, and a business assessment and strategic plan. One of the reasons sales of businesses fail is that owners back out. So they have a fear of or no clear reason for selling or plans for post-sale. What will I do? Fear of not having enough money post-sale. So this is common where they think about the potential sale price, then they do the math. They figure out, okay, minus the lawyer fees, minus the accounting fees, minus the success fee, minus taxes, and then they start to worry, will I have enough to live on after I sell my business? Emotional challenges no one can get around. These happen to all owners in my experience, including myself, where you have post-sale, you have a loss of identity. We identify with our businesses. We own our businesses. We put everything into our businesses. We lose a sense of purpose. So when we owned our business, our purpose was many. We had many hats. We were always busy. And so finding a purpose post-sale is a challenge. Loss of power, status, prestige. You're the boss now. You call the shots. You're in charge of many people. That changes when it's just you and your husband or you and your wife. Social connections. So, we have clients, we have employees, we have vendors, we have people we network with. And now, you're at home with your family and you don't have as many social connections. Schedule. So this was a big one for me. I went from having a huge, busy 24-hour schedule to having really nothing in my schedule post-sale. And it was a challenge to kind of get used to that and figure out what I was going to put in my schedule. So, and also you have a sense of accomplishment. When you own a home care agency, you help so many seniors who, couldn't live alone otherwise. You employ so many employees and feed so many families as a result. So there's a huge sense of accomplishment that you will lose temporarily if you sell. So some components of the personal assessment and plan. There's a lifestyle plan. So the lifestyle plan is the process of creating a vision and an action plan for your life outside of the business. It addresses how you want your life to unfold and has activities that stimulate and motivate you. So a bucket list is not a lifestyle plan. It's good to have it, but it's not the plan. Leisure is only part of the plan. So retiring to Florida and golfing every day is only a part of the lifestyle plan, but it can't be the entire plan. Your personal plan also includes a personal readiness assessment and a risk assessment. So those are questionnaires that your exit planner will take you through to determine your readiness and the level of risk you have. So benefits of a personal plan, it provides clarity about your next chapter in life. It establishes purpose, replacing your current purpose as a business owner. It fills life with meaning, avoiding transition pitfalls such as relationship issues, isolation, and boredom. So after I sold my business, I was so looking forward to being semi-retired. So I was going to just kind of work part-time and, enjoy my personal time and downtime. And so it was a bit of a tough transition to go from 150 miles an hour to like 10. And so I decided that I was going to do a accounting and consulting, kind of a financial consulting business, and I was going to offer bookkeeping and accounting and financial advice. And so I did that for a while, but I found myself not being excited about it and found myself unhappy. And then couldn't figure out why I was unhappy. I was kind of doing my own thing and this is what I wanted, but it turns out I was extremely bored doing this. And so so then I realized that I basically did an exit plan after I exited, which is the wrong way to go about it. And had I known about this sooner, it would have been a different situation. But anyway, I found that M&A fills me and makes me happy. Um, so this is what you can find if you do your exit plan ahead of time. So questions to ask yourself to create a personal and financial plans. I'm not going to go over all of them, but these are the questions that, spark thought. Who are the people that matter to you? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? What do you want your legacy to be? How do you plan to achieve it? What age? Do you have charitable goals? Where do you want to live? These are all the things. Like what kind of wealth goals, health goals? What is your wealth gap? So I'm going to go over that in a minute. And so the Exit Planning Institute gives you some processes called STEP. It makes you look at spiritual, makes you take a look at things. What sort of things do I want to have today? What things could I live without? Experiences, what do I cherish most? And what do I still want to experience? So this is an illustration of the wealth gap. So what this is showing you, basically, it's a client who determined that in order to continue their lifestyle post sale of their business or retirement, they needed 400 a year to live comfortably. And so the simple math in exit planning is you divide that by 4% and it gives you 10 million. So this person needed 10 million at the end, the combination of the sale of their business and the current financials that they have. And so the reality is the 2 million is your current cash, your 401k plan, your car, your house. It's everything except your business. So that's reality. That's where you are today is the 2 million. This client's pretty lucky. And so the wealth gap is the difference between where you are today and what you need in order to retire with the lifestyle that you would like. So the wealth gap in this case is 8 million. So the question is with exit planning and what creates your plan is, okay, so I need my business to generate 8 million to make up the difference. How am I going to get there? So, components of a personal financial plan. So, the goal of this is to have documented and updated personal financial strategy that will bridge the wealth gap and ensure you meet your goals. So, your personal financial plan is much like you would have if you worked with a financial advisor. You have your wealth management, portfolio, retirement planning, risk management that looks at, insurances and do you have insurance, key manager insurance, stuff like that. So it takes a look though at exit options analysis. So it takes a look at all the possible exit options you could have and what are the tax consequences of each of these options. So if you did a stock sale, what would be the tax consequence? If you did an asset sale, what would be the tax? What if you sold to your employees? What if you transitioned it to your children? What if you sold to a third party? So it takes all these what if scenarios and figures out the tax. So this helps you in planning financially. And then you also have estate planning component. So if you want to put, if you're going to get a large windfall from selling your business, you want to create trusts and accounts that will be protected from a tax basis. So the business section of the strategic plan, right? So the plan is supposed to take you from successful to significant. So a significant company is one that is valuable, transferable, ready, and attractive at any point, while the business owner's business, personal, and financial goals are aligned. So the first component you're going to identify. So where's your baseline? So you want to obtain a business valuation of your business. This is your baseline. Where are you now? You're going to perform a financial analysis and an industry benchmarking. So not only where are you from a business valuation, but where are you in relation to the industry? And then you'll complete an attractiveness and readiness report. So again, like a questionnaire. And then that's going to rate all of the components of your operations. So how are your referral sources? How are your employees? Are they talented? Are they experienced? So what are your processes? Are they outdated? So it takes a look at a lot. And then you're going to determine the range of the industry multiples. So in our industry, 3 to 6 are the multiples. But then it's going to have you take a look at best in class earnings, okay? And that determines your profit gap. So best in class would be your company 2.0. So if you took your company and fixed if you had a revenue concentration, maybe all your revenue is from just a few clients, you would go out and diversify your clientele. If your margins are low, work on expenses to get your margins up. So what would like the perfect version of you look like? A best-in-class company. And so the difference between where you are now and a best-in-class company is your profit gap. That's the money you're leaving on the table by not working on your business with a plan to exit. And then the value gap is the difference between the price that you would get if you sold now and the value of the price for a best-in-class agency. So the next phase after you've identified everything and you have a baseline is to protect it. So you're going to identify areas where your business is at risk and create a plan to de-risk it. So businesses are at risk when they have low margins, when they have high customer concentration, when the business is heavily reliant on the owner. Maybe you wear many hats and the hats you wear are critical roles. So next you're going to identify which key areas to focus on to bring up the potential sale price down the road of your company. And then harvest phase. This is where you list the exit options that best fit your personal, financial, and business goals. So these are some business envisioning. So this helps you identify your business mission, kind of like the personal questions. So you're going to do a SWOT analysis, identify your values, your brand promise, what's your mission, what are your long-term goals, determine your key performance indicators. So there's 3 ways to increase enterprise value. So in M&A, enterprise value is the potential sale price of your business. So increase profitability, that's not a surprise, but you want to aim for 10% or higher net profit compared to sales. So whatever your net income is on your income statement or your P&L, you want to divide that by your revenue for that period, and it'll give you a percent. And so you want to be 10% or higher to be considered more best in class than average or below. Reduce the risk. So I find this has happened with many clients that were selling their businesses. where it's too dependent on the owner. The revenue concentration, what happens with revenue concentration is that buyers will reduce the sale price because you have revenue concentration. So this is directly relates to the price you receive. So always diversify, have many referral sources, have several clients, not just a handful that make up half your revenue or a third of your revenue. Your margins are important. Make sure your gross margin, so your revenue minus your direct costs, so your direct care workers, is closer to 40%. But anything, it needs to be over 30%. And then position your company as best in class. So a best in class company, it commands the highest multiple. So if the multiples, so in non-medical, multiples are 3 to 5. So a best in class non-medical would be a 5 multiple. A best in class home health, that varies. So home health can vary from 4 to 6 approximately. That might be, so it might be a 6. So a business with high revenue does not mean it's profitable nor valuable at the time of sale. So focusing on increasing the value of your business, so the marketability of your business and how well it operates without you and your margins, through de-risking, the income will follow. So you want to focus on that. So for many business owners, their business is 80% of their net worth. So wouldn't you want to maximize that? So this is an illustration of an example EBITDA. So for those that are not familiar, EBITDA is your earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. And so this example, client has 250,000 of EBITDA, and they are an average agency, that's owner dependent, some outdated processes, maybe they could use a new AMR, maybe processes aren't documented. So they have low to average margins. So they might go for a 4 multiple. So if you multiply 4 by the 250, that's $1 million sale price. So if you do the work that is recommended in an exit plan, after that, so if you increase your EBITDA, and this is conservative, so this is just increasing your EBITDA by $50,000 for a year, that's not a lot. So you could really increase this example, but for this example, if you just increased it by 50,000 and you cleaned up your books, you reduced your concentration, you have a manager or administrator that can take your role and really run it, now you can command a 5 multiple. So if you multiply the 5 by the higher EBITDA, now your sale price is 1.5 million. So you've just gained $500,000, which is like a 50% return. When you think about it, the stock market's like 6 to 10%. So your business, like it said, is 80% of your net worth. So really focusing on your business is worthwhile. So fine. So now we have all these plans and it sounds great, but plans sit on shelves. So, owners want results now. So this is, kind of a corny example, but it's true. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So the first thing you do is you assemble your exit planning team. So an exit planner will organize your team. You're going to have a financial advisor, a tax and estate attorney. You may have an M&A advisor, just briefly, an accountant at one point. So team members can come and go, but the exit planner will make sure that there's symmetry between everyone. You want to develop your 3 to 5 year vision. So that's your personal, your financial, your business. Then you define of that vision, what are the goals and tasks? So you list all those out. Then you reduce it down to yearly goals. So then you take your yearly goals and you prioritize them and assign accountability. Who's going to do what? And the key here to making it happen is to plan 90-day sprints. So 90-day sprints, it's a continual loop of 90 days where you prioritize you execute, you measure, you reconnect as a team, and then you recalibrate if needed. So maybe you set off to do one thing and you realized after the quarter went by and input from your team that maybe that wasn't a great idea, or maybe we should tweak it a little bit. So then you tweak it and then you set off for the next 90 days. So when you prioritize your 90-day sprints, the Exit Planning Institute recommends that first you focus on de-risking. So that's where owner, doesn't rely on you, you diversify your revenue, all that stuff we talked about. Then you focus on strategy, how to get more clients. Efficiency. So you want to focus on efficiency before you focus on growth, because if you grow and you're not efficient, you're going to have growing pains. And then the last thing you focus on is culture. How can you build a better culture? So value acceleration, it's a term in exit planning. It's the process of improving your business every quarter until you feel you and your business have accomplished your personal, financial, and business goals to exit and harvest the wealth that's trapped in your business. So value acceleration delivers clarity, it delivers liquidity, and intentional legacy. So what does an exit planner do? So an exit planner is a professional skilled in value acceleration methodology, aligning business, personal, and financial goals to cultivate a company of significance in the present and ensure successful transitions in the future. So they act as an expert orchestrator, collaborator, connector, understanding that exit planning involves teamwork across various disciplines. So the disclaimer, so the views and opinions expressed by Corcoran Consulting Group, its consultants and representatives are intended solely for general informational purposes. So we recommend that you contact professionals, but I will gladly answer your questions. So Leslie, if you have questions accumulated in the chat, if not, everybody go ahead and put your questions in the chat and then Leslie will read them out.
That sounds great. I don't see anything right now, but let's give people a moment to absorb. I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So there actually isn't anything, but maybe actually I'll ask and you guys can chime in. Where are you all in this process? You all joined this webinar for reasons. Is anybody thinking about what the value of their agency is and what the future looks like as we end 2025? Gladys or Vanessa? Pamela? You've mentioned, actually, we spoke before the call began on timeline. What is the average timeline for beginning to end for this process?
Well, it can be conducted at any time. Some people will start exit planning 10 years in from their exit. Other people will start 5 years. It could be, 1 to 2. And even if you begin even 6 months to a year before your exit, it gives you time to fix these easy, no-brainer things that will make a complete difference in the price of your business and make a difference for your income today as well. So the goal of exit planning is that you're creating value and income now, as well as having a clear view of what your future will look like and have money to live in your future.
Very good. There really isn't anything in the chat. If anybody has comments, it doesn't have to be a question. You can, it's a safe space. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you like, if you rather.
I have
a question.
Go ahead.
How often do you revisit the exit plan? Like, say you create an exit plan, you want to exit maybe in 3 to 5 years, and then 3 years comes and you're not ready or something changes. is this like an ongoing process that you would work with Cochrane with? Or you have,
Yeah, well, it's 90-day sprint. So every 90 days you should be working the exit plan. Because the exit plan is so comprehensive that it includes all of the things that add value to your business. So, growing your revenue. So it's the things that you think about now, even if you didn't have an exit plan, but it's just more focused, that you can focus on it. Every quarter, you should be focusing on all that needs to be accomplished to bring you closer to your goal.
okay, thank you.
So my question to all of you, if you want to put in the chat, is the exit planning that I described, is it what you thought?
Yes.
It is. Okay. Do you have an exit plan?
I do not know. I have one in my head
Okay.
and it changes every day.
Yes, well, that's the whole recalibrating portion of it. So it's not all going to stay everything that you decided 5 years ago. It needs to be flexible. So, well, I allowed time for questions, but I
Yep.
think now everyone can go back to getting ready for Thanksgiving, I think.
Great. Thank you all for your time. As we develop our 2025, our last, 2026 education calendar, I'll send you out the other lunch and learn sessions. And if I don't see you, have a wonderful Thanksgiving and holiday season.
Do we get a copy of this session, the slides
Yeah,
and stuff?
it was recorded, and I think your slides are available, Jane, are they?
Yes, they are. So should I sent them to you this morning.
I'll send them out with a follow-up, so you'll have the slides and the recording as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Thank you.